We were talking about the annexation of the West Bank done by the Israeli side. Bezalel Motrich has gone into one of the central cities and has ordered this kind of annexation on the West Bank. So, of course, and as Dr. Nasser was saying, that the Israeli airstrike on a building in Gaza had killed 4 Palestinians, and the total number since the ceasefire took effect is at 580 deaths, which are still counting. Of course, the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres called on Israel to reverse this unlawful decision to deepen control over the occupied West Bank, describing it as a gravely concerning. Protesters took to the streets across Australia to rally against a visit by Israeli President Isaac Herzog, who has previously said that there are no innocent victims in war-devastated Gaza. So I want to know, this has international implications. It does not matter to any kind of territory, but it is taking to the world skin. I want to understand more from Norman Floyd Barnes.
Greetings, good morning. The situation in Gaza has accelerated. The United States is apparently not responding to this latest provocation, and it appears that the annexation is in process, and the peace process over there is starting to unfortunately come apart, and it looks like the Israelis is going to move again in the process of annexation of the West Bank. In addition to the current situation with Gaza, and we are not here in the United States are not pleased with what's happening, but it appears that their plan is in place right now for a total takeover.
US President Donald Trump is threatening to block the opening of a US-Canada border bridge. The Gordon Howe International Bridge connecting the Canadian province of Ontario to the US state of Michigan would not open until Ottawa treats the United States with fairness and respect that we deserve. These are words that Trump wrote on his Truth social media handle. Of course, according to the project's website, the bridge is being funded by the Canadian government but will be publicly owned by both Canada and Michigan. It is still not clear how Donald Trump could block this opening, but he said negotiations would begin immediately without any kind of elaboration. So I want to ask Norman Floyd Barnes, Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada, who has recently visited China, who has recently got very big foreign investment from the Chinese side for electric vehicles, putting a strain and threat to the US domestic market of foreign imported vehicles. All of this together and the blocking of this bridge connecting 2 of the territories from the United States to the Canada, I want to understand what is the future of economic relationships between the 2 territories. Norman Floyd.
To be honest, I think this is just basically a standoff, more of a stall tactic. The bridge opening will not have or will not affect the overall business relationship with the United States and Canada. It's just 2 leaders trying to basically leverage each other. The current situation with Canada and the United States in trade is being tested, but nothing drastic is going to happen with the bridge. The bridge is not going to be the issue that breaks the America and Canada relationship. Business is still going on, and this will work itself out in the next couple of days. Not a big issue.
So I want to ask Norman Floyd Barnes also regarding Cuba. There is some of excerpts that are coming out. The Cuban state oil companies will shift to a 4-day work week with transport between provinces dialed down, main tourism facilities closed, shorter school days, and reduced in-person attendance requirements at universities. It has a very drastic effect for the entirety of the economy. And not only so, According to Perez Olivia, who's the vice president, has said the fuel will be used to protect essential services for the population and indispensable economic activities. The one government's narratives has pushed into another government's ordeals the daily duties that it has to its people. And not only so, as Dr. Nasser was also saying, there is the Munich Security Conference among us. It will begin this time around from 13th to 15th February, which is very important as the Munich Security Conference serves the world's most influential annual security forum held every February in Munich in Germany. So I want to ask once more with Norman Floyd Barnes, what is your observation? Latin America, it does seem that they are going through a very difficult year, especially as the year began with one of the nation's leaders being captured by the U.S. Special Forces. Norman Floyd Barnes.
Thank you for the question. This scenario has already been put out by the United States, the Trump administration. Latin America has real problems. Uh, with the situation in Venezuela, uh, Secretary Rubio stated that Cuba is in problem. The president of the United States has stated that there's a real problem with Cuba. So the plan is already in place to isolate that region of Latin America and let situation with Cuba and Mexico and other countries, let them self-destruct. Basically, Russia has come in and talked about Cuba, the need for fuel, the isolation, the blockade, the services, the
Cano,
everyday essence they need to survive as a
Ektu
country
Halka.
is being blocked by the presence of the U.S.
Sobujer
military in that region, and they are not the United States is waiting for basic Cuba to be the next domino to fall. There's a presence there. There may be a repeat scenario that happened in Venezuela that happens in Cuba. It's a situation right now where the economic and the day-to-day survival of the people are now being questioned, now being challenged, and we are maybe looking at another repeat of Venezuela in Cuba coming up very soon. And so, again, the Trump plan on Western Hemisphere is moving forward. So we're looking at change. Things are happening. There's not going to be any relief. We're looking for another base here, another country to fall, and another government to basically be overturned. What particular impact the United States will have on that, I would suggest that they will have a very strong impact and effect on this change. And so look for another situation to happen in Venezuela to occur in our neighboring country of Cuba. So be prepared.
The China-Japan relations look bilateral, but they are actually triangular. Japan cannot confront China without the US, and China cannot pressure Japan without thinking about Washington. And that is how the security nexus is being shaped. Of course, very recently, the leader of Japan, the first female leader of the nation, had said that the Chinese are trying to intimidate them in the international waters. And of course, there are so many disputes regarding some of these islands that both of these nations are claiming ownership of. Of course, Washington has allies in the region, South Korea being one of them, Taiwan as well as Japan, who are also understanding how the Western Hemisphere plays a role in this Eastern corridor. I want to ask Norman Floyd Barnes, it is with a very severe concern I ask you this question, that history says that Japan and America has historic bombing situations, but that is of the past. But today they are both allied against a common China. And of course, as we've said earlier shows, that China shall not make the first offensive. It will always take to its defense. So I want to know, what is your observation and what do you think is coming in the coming days? Norman Floyd Barnes.
Yes, my instincts, stating that nothing significant is going to happen. China is in a pause mode, wait and see mode. They are moving forward with their agenda of uh, being the alternative to the situation with the Western world. Uh, Taiwan, in their mind, is part of the Chinese uh, empire. The situation with Japan and South Korea is concerning to China, but not to the point where they are going to have to take any drastic action to protect Taiwan. Uh, North Korea has been quiet, um, very suspiciously, but China knows that the world depends on them. Uh, the United States also knows that we have to deal with the trade and commerce issues, in addition to the situation with Taiwan. Taiwan holds a key to what's going on in the world. The elections that is going to happen in the South Asia region, particularly in Bangladesh, will have a significant impact on the policies and what actions China takes next. Believe it or not, they are looking for a stability, a stable situation where they will be taking a soft approach to controlling the region. That is happening. Uh, Depending on the results of the election in Bangladesh, China will make its next move. It will be through a neighboring country or direct contact with Bangladesh. I can almost assure that that will happen. Based on the election results in Bangladesh, which is very critical to the region, a lot of people don't understand is very critical for the next move for China.
Of course.
Taiwan will be the focus on exactly economically, on technology, on how we move. Do the Chinese put pressure on the rest of the world by threatening the what called the isolation of Taiwan and its technology? Uh, will it affect how the United States deal with technology and what's going on? You like I said, we're depending on our smartphones, our technology used for that. That is a very strong element. This is economic power. So if China has to put the pressure on the United States and other parts to basically back off, they will. But the key is what is going to happen in the South Asia region. Bangladesh, I keep mentioning Bangladesh. It will show exactly the intent of China and how the United States respond to that. So Thursday is going to be a very important day. Friday, you'll see different moves and different response. China is going to basically have a response. Uh, they will have, and the United States will respond to that. But right now, everything is pending on South Asia right now. What is happening in the region, how things going to happen in the neighboring countries, and what we're looking forward in terms on economic empowerment.
Of course.
Technology is the big issue. The world needs technology, and the technology comes from that region. So it will have a big effect, and and just wait and see exactly how this thing plays out. But
Right.
believe it or not, little Bangladesh is a big player in this situation, unknowingly a big player, because we're looking for a positioning. We're looking for positioning of the Western versus the China
Right.
uh, syndrome. What's going on? So be prepared for a drastic response from your neighbor from China on Friday.